Hello, you. Oh, I don't know why I can't do this without laughing. Let's take a moment together. All right. Welcome to the Self Love with Jels podcast. I'm your host, as you may know, and as you may have heard from our previous episodes. My name is Jelsie Martinez, and I'm a health and wellness coach. And I like to look at health and wellness through a lens of self love. This particular podcast was made for the goofy and creative empaths out there in the world. If you're listening to this right now and that is you, hello and welcome. You've made it to the right spot. You've made it to a very safe and very weird place. So, welcome. I'm excited that you're here. The reason that I created this podcast is because I truly believe that you have so much to offer to the world. You're empathetic, you're creative, you're goofy, and all of those things are incredibly important when it comes to making any kind of change in the world, making this world a better place in any freaking way. It might be through your art, through your creations, through your business, your career, your words, your stories. You are going to make an impact on the world. And if not the entire world, your corner of the world. This podcast is to teach you and educate you on health, wellness, and self love so that you can feel confident, so you can enhance your life and live a better life in order to be able to share that with others, to cause a ripple effect. I went a little deep on the introduction today. So let's just dive straight into our episode. All right. Today, we're going to be talking about quieting the negative chatter. Anytime I talk to someone on social media or in the DMs, or I'm getting to know someone new, the first question they have is, how do I quiet that negative voice inside my head? And this is something that I struggled with a lot at the beginning of my self love journey. In my entire life, actually, leading up to now, it's so much better. But when I was first starting out, it was tough, man. I was really depressed, and it didn't help to have a brain that constantly told you that you were not enough. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about or the impact that having this negative voice in your head has on oneself, let me just give you an example or to paint a picture for you so you can visualize just how much this negative voice inside our head really holds us back. And I'm going to get close for this one because I'm a little tired of sitting up straight. All right. So imagine that you are getting ready to hang out with some friends. Actually, yeah, we'll stay with that. We'll dive into other things later. But imagine you're going to hang out with some friends and you are getting dressed. You're looking at yourself in the mirror and immediately you're not even acknowledging yourself fully. You just go straight towards critiquing, towards criticizing yourself. You're looking in the mirror and you're like doing your makeup and you're really or doing your hair if you're a guy or makeup if you're a guy, and just you're doing whatever to get ready. um and you are just critiquing yourself. You are wondering how in the world do I even have friends because I look like this? What Why can't I look as beautiful as other people? Why can't I see myself as beautiful? Maybe others have told me I'm beautiful, but what if they're just saying that to make me feel better about myself? What if they're just saying that and it's not actually true? So you're getting ready and you already have these negative thoughts spiraling in your head. So you're looking at your face, you're critiquing, and then you start getting dressed and you are looking at your body and you're critiquing. You're not seeing all of the magical things it does, how it takes you from one place to another, how it's beating without you even having, how your heart is beating without you even having to think about it. And you're not even thinking about those things. Instead, you're looking at your body, maybe pinching your skin and asking, why do I look like this? Why am I this way? This is a little off, or that is a little crooked. Um, this isn't big enough. This isn't small enough. You're making all of these critiques about yourself. And then finally, you start actually putting on clothes and you wonder, why don't I have anything to wear? Why don't any of my clothes look good on me? Man, I'm really bringing down the vibes today. But that's seriously how it feels to have this negative chatter in your head. It's constantly looping and it just never gives you a break. So even after you're done getting dressed, you are getting ready to hang out with your friends, you're texting them and you're telling them where you're going to meet up, and you're thinking, maybe I shouldn't even go to this. I don't know. I really enjoy my friends, but I don't know if they really like me all that much. And I feel like if I go there, they're going to ask me about my job, and I'm really insecure about my job. So maybe I shouldn't go at all. And then all of these different negative all of this negative chatter is going on in your head. And the more and more it cycles and cycles and gets worse and worse, like, I don't even look good today. Why should I even go out with my friends? The more this happens, the more you begin to question whether or not you should go, whether or not you should go hang out with your friends and do something fun, because you're already nervous that when you get there, it's not going to be fun. And you're right. Not that you're right, but because of your thinking, you end up being right. You get there and you're feeling very tense. You're feeling very quiet, very insecure. You're just waiting for the moment to dip out because you just feel like you don't have anything to contribute to the rest of the group. And this is all very catastrophized or very exaggerated. But honestly, this is how I used to feel before going out with people. I felt this too. I didn't think I looked good enough. And then when I got dressed, I didn't think my body was good enough. And then when I left, I didn't think that I fit in with the group that I was going to hang out with. When I got there, I was tense. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to start any conversations. And it was tough. It was so tough. And even talking about it, I noticed my voice and my cadence speed up, because that's what happens when you're spiraling with this negative chatter. Your brain's going tick, 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 tick. It's just moving so quickly and without you. It feels like it's moving without you. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about this negative chatter inside of your head and what to do about it. Because when we're constantly living with this negative chatter, it's holding us back from how we truly want to live our lives. It's holding us back from the potential that we know that we have if we could just get this voice in our head to shut up. And when you quiet that negative chatter, you are more able to enhance your life and to live a life that you love unapologetically. So, to give you just a summary of what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to quiet this negative chatter, or 3 tips in general of just what this negative chatter is, how to quiet it, and what not to do. So, the 3 things that we're going to be talking about today is where these thoughts come from. We're going to talk about why confidence does not come from our thoughts entirely. We'll dig it deeper into that. And then why or what to do to actually quiet these thoughts and what not to do as well. So let's get started. We're going to start with where these thoughts come from because that's by far the most important aspect of this. And holy smokes, I spent 11 minutes on the introduction. I am so sorry. Okay. Let's slow it down for a moment because we are stepping into a different vibration. We're stepping into something that is not as frazzled and spiraling. So let's take a moment to slow it down. If you need to, pause the video for a second and take a few deep breaths. So you're in a clear mind before we begin talking about quieting this negative chatter. I want to begin by giving you a visualization. And genuinely, hearing this changed my life. It was like a 1 minute, 60-second video on YouTube. And basically, this guy, was sitting in front of his computer, and the quality wasn't the best, and it was like a 60-second video. And he sat there and he said, which I think this quote is attributed to someone else, but I don't know off the top of my head. But I heard it here first. I heard it on YouTube first. And he said, "You are the beautiful blue sky, and your thoughts are just the clouds. They come and they go. Sometimes they're white and fluffy, sometimes they're dark and stormy, but they come and they go. They don't stay there forever. And remember that even on a cloudy day, the beautiful blue sky is still beneath it. It is still there." This video changed my life. It changed the way that I look at my thoughts, how I respond to my thoughts, and it opened the door to learning more about my mind. So these negative thoughts, they don't necessarily come from you. You are not inherently unkind, discompassionate, mean, evil. You are not these things. Being a human is being love. And these thoughts, where they truly come from, is from your learnings, what you've picked up over time, the things that you've learned about yourself and the world around you through experiences, through stories, through changing your story over time or putting like the way you tell your story. It comes from things that other people have told you, from societal standards, from advertisement, from education, from history. All of these thoughts inside your mind are coming from everything that you've learned throughout your life. And these same thoughts, this negative chatter, they don't necessarily come from a place of abundance and love. They come from a place that was created by the things that you've learned in your life: fear and scarcity. So these thoughts are not out to get you. They're not being mean to you just to be mean. The thoughts, the negative chatter inside your mind genuinely thinks, if it could think, that it's protecting you. These thoughts are a form of protection. If I say I'm ugly, other people can't tell me I'm ugly because I already know it, so it's not going to hurt me. If I know, or if I think that I know that my friends are going to be annoyed if I am my goofy self around them, then I am going to protect myself beforehand and not be my goofy self around them. If I live my life with a mask and someone criticizes me, I know they're not critiquing me. I know that they're critiquing the mask, and so I'm protected. If you start looking at your thoughts this way, you will start to understand them better, and you will start to notice that they aren't out to get you. This negative chatter, it's not out to get you. It's just scared. It's afraid of scarcity. It's afraid of pain. And it's just trying to protect you in the ways that it knows best, in the way that it's learned best. And so remember that you are the beautiful blue sky, and your thoughts are just clouds, just the clouds that come and go. The second part of this is you can't necessarily control the thoughts that pop up in your mind. I've talked to individuals who they struggle with these negative thoughts popping up in their mind, and they want to get to the point that they no longer automatically go to these negative thoughts. And I can say with practice and through affirmations and living life in love and abundance, you start to hear this negative chatter less. And you start to have more positive thoughts that happen automatically. That actually begins to happen. But it doesn't protect you from every negative thought inside your mind. And keep it as that. It's just a negative thought. It's just a thought that is scared, fearful. So these negative thoughts aren't going to go away completely, and you won't get to the point where you are only thinking positive thoughts all the time and you never ever have a gray cloud come by. So keep that in mind. You can't control these negative thoughts, but you can reframe them. You can try different things to quiet them, which we'll talk about later in this episode. But yes, you can reframe these thoughts to get into a better practice and train your brain to start thinking this way. So, when it comes to reframing, which I might actually have to just make a full episode on this, so this one doesn't end up being too long, I will just give you a gist. Reframing your thoughts can be done through a couple of different places. And actually, let's wait until the third part of this podcast to actually get into it, because we will speak about reframing in that final part because it'll make more sense there. So, the final piece on your thoughts being the blue sky, or your thoughts being the clouds and yourself being the blue sky, and where these negative thoughts come from. The final thing is your breath. So, when it comes to reframing, when it comes to looking at these thoughts in a different way, when it comes to practicing love and abundance, and when it comes to understanding more of where these thoughts come from, something that I want to practice right now to prepare us for the next two pieces of this podcast episode is anchoring to the breath. So, whenever we're having a negative thought and it's time for us to reframe or just let this thought go, we can come to the breath. The breath is always here for us. If we're overwhelmed and we start spiraling, because this negative chatter can cause us to spiral, which then becomes what some people call a mental breakdown. To avoid this spiral and to stop it before it gets worse, you can connect with your breath. Just make sure to come back to your breath. That's incredibly important. And the breathing exercise that I go to, even to this day, when I notice that I'm spiraling. And for those of you that aren't sure what that means, it's when you have a negative thought, and that negative thought goes to another negative thought, which goes to another one, which goes to another one, which goes to another one, and then it keeps spiraling down and getting worse and worse and worse. So you start at, oh my gosh, that thing is so expensive and I can't afford it, but I absolutely need it for some reason. I am such a failure. I don't have a job that can get me there. And then the reason that I don't have a job is because I didn't do well enough in college, or I didn't do well enough in college because I wasn't confident in myself. And why am I so stupid for not being confident in myself? And why am I being like this, and why can't I stop thinking like this? And oh, this thing happened in my childhood that's really the cause and the root for all of this. And then if it wasn't for this, then this wouldn't happen, and blah, 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 blah. This is a spiral, a downward spiral. And there's upward spirals. There's upward spirals that bring you up and they shoot you right up. There's one amazing habit that leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another. But then there's also downward spirals that happen with negative chatter. One thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And if you're not watching the video version of this, it is available on YouTube, but you'll notice more that I am using my hands a lot here. So I apologize if some of the references you don't get because you can't actually see my face. So coming back to your breath as an anchor, this will be really important for the next two parts of this podcast episode. So number 2 is confidence doesn't come from your thoughts necessarily. True confidence, and yes, you can talk yourself into confidence. You can tell yourself and hype yourself up and tell yourself that you're doing awesome and that you are celebrating yourself. And yeah, that's really great. And you're able to become more confident through your words and through your language. But what if that wasn't the only way? And what if, because it's so easy when we're using words to hype us up and make us feel more confident, we are also putting ourselves in a position where our negative voice can talk back. Our negative voice can say, you think you're so awesome, man? Well, what about that thing you did last week? All right. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So sometimes our negative voice can respond to that and bring us back down. So we're going to talk about something really for a moment called quiet confidence. I learned this by doing a Headspace meditation series over self-love. And the very first meditation technique that they taught us was the quiet confidence. And so, what this meditation explains through meditation and through the practice of quieting the chattering mind is that you are an essence. There's so much freaking stuff around you. On the outside, in your mind, there's so much. But at the very core of it, you are your essence. Everything about you changes. Your body changes. Your cells replenish. You have memories that can be altered. Your wants, desires, dreams change. Your personality changes. But at the very core, the one thing that you do have is your essence. And so that's what this quiet confidence speaks to. It speaks to this idea of your essence and finding your essence, and not so much finding it, being it, living it. Basically, this is being in the present moment. You truly find your confidence in not thinking, quieting your mind. And you can do this and practice this through meditation. And you can also apply it to your life with your breath. Whenever you are feeling like you aren't confident, or for example, the very beginning, we talked about a story about going to hang out with friends. Instead of hyping yourself up, instead of bringing yourself down, what if you balance in the middle and you put yourself in the present moment? You won't truly understand how this works. Like, you can understand the concept of it, but it's hard to picture when you haven't actually done it. So, your homework for this week is going to be trying this. The next time that you're feeling overwhelmed by this negative voice inside your head, quiet your mind. You can close your eyes. You can connect with your breath. Whatever you have to do to sink back into the present moment. You can use your 5 senses. 5 things I see, 5 things I hear, 5 things I touch, 5 things I smell, 5 things I taste, or one thing of each. Whatever you have to do to anchor back into your present moment, that is where you truly are. That is your quiet confidence. Finally, we're going to talk about kind of the do's and don'ts of quieting this negative chatter. Don't try to shut it up completely. It's not going to go away, and it's not going to get better if you just tell it, you're not supposed to be here. Get out, please. That's not going to make it go away. That might even irritate it a little. And so instead of trying to shut up this voice, we're just going to soften it. And we're going to do this through 3 different avenues. One is curiosity, compassion, and breath. Let's speak more into curiosity. Like I mentioned before, this Negative chatter inside your head comes from a place of fear, a place of scarcity, a place of needs, needs that aren't being met. And so it's important to approach this voice with curiosity. All right, voice. So you are saying that I look terrible today. Why is this coming up for you? Where did you learn that? What about my appearance makes it terrible? And by whose standards? It's okay to question this voice because sometimes it needs to hear these questions in order to soften. And you can probably relate to this. Sometimes, if maybe you said something mean about someone else and someone confronted you about it, they're like, why'd you say that? Is that true? How is that true? Sometimes we just need a wake up back into reality, and we can do that through curiosity. And coming into my second point, non judgment. Don't judge these thoughts. They're not meant to be judged. They just are. So allow them to just be and explore them with curiosity. And on top of that, explore them with compassion. I'm sorry that you feel that way. It sucks that you think that having a curvy body or having a thin body isn't attractive. I'm sorry that you don't feel okay in the skin we're in. What can I do to help? What do you need? That's the most important question. What do you need? What are you searching for? What is the need that you're searching for? Because maybe if it's a thought about your looks, you're searching for acceptance and belonging. How can I find that somewhere else? How can I give myself that? If that's my need, why am I using this vehicle to get me there? If you notice that you are saying something mean about yourself, that you're stupid for the way you were spending money, maybe your need is security. The decision you made you feel unsafe. And for that, you called yourself stupid. But in reality, you just need safety. You're seeking safety. And finally, coming back to the breath. The breath is going to be the most important part of all of this. Some thoughts we don't have to be compassionate with or embrace with curiosity. Some thoughts we just let go. So you're thinking and you're having this negative chatter in your mind, and you take a deep breath and you exhale and you take another deep breath and you exhale and you take another deep breath and you exhale. And you're so focused on being present. You're so focused on your breath that the thought is gone. Just like the clouds that come and go, the thought is gone. And were it to come up again, then yeah, maybe you should address it. But address it with curiosity and kindness. It's my sleepy puppies down there. I wish you could see them. All right. So today we talked a lot. We really, really went in depth in this. And we can go even deeper. This is just the surface level and just what I have personally learned through my experience that I feel or that I think could help you on your self love journey. So, these are 3 tips on quieting the negative voice inside your head by understanding where it comes from, why it doesn't represent your confidence and yourself, and then what to do and what not to do. So those are some of the things that we talked about today. In the description below, you will find this information listed out if you would prefer to read it. And then also, you will find information on the self-love sequence, which if you haven't heard about it already, we're in week 2 of the launch. And I am recording this before May 1st even starts, so I'm not sure if we're full or not, but it doesn't hurt to check. So in the description below, you will find just some instructions on how to get involved, how to learn more about this 90-day self-love program so that you can finally live your empowered, healthy, and free life. This 90-day program is for goofy, empathetic, and creative individuals that want to learn how to love themselves deeply, to feel free in their life, and to develop a healthy lifestyle. If you are interested, again, and if the spots are not already all taken up because I'm only taking in 10 individuals, if you are interested in this, then please look in the description below. If you like this video, if you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button so I can continue spreading the word of self-love, health, and wellness to those who truly need it. And if you want to see more things, health, wellness, and self-love, do hit the subscribe button so you can stay updated with all of the new videos that I post. And if you're watching this on, or if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, hello. And I know you can't see my face. I'm basically wiggling in a chair for half an hour, 40 minutes for 40 minutes. And so if you want to see me wiggle in a chair and stare off into space for 40 minutes, be my guest and come join us on YouTube and remember to like and subscribe there. And if not, and if this episode made you think of someone today, please share it. With self-love, not a lot of people want to talk about it. And yeah, you have like Glow Up or the reels on TikTok or Instagram that's like, oh, all this hard work is bringing me to where I'm at today and I'm feeling so much better and I'm learning to love myself. But we don't really have conversations on it. So if this episode really resonated with you and you feel like it could benefit someone that you know, this is a nice way of letting them know that you're thinking about them and that you care for them and passing on this knowledge that they can take into their self-love journey. So, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you take time to get unplugged and step away from technology for a moment because I know I have that planned, hopefully, this weekend. Future me, if you are listening to this, unplug this weekend. All right. I will talk to you guys next Friday. Have a good day. See ya.